Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. LSU and Vanderbilt will be a Saturday night in Death Valley. This is one you probably looked at months ago and thought, well, that's one we may give the tickets to the in-laws, go hunting. Not so much. These Commodores have been game all season long. Imagine it's been a fun ride for our next guest, Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vanderbilt Commodores. Gives us some time on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Andrew, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. So what it sounds like is the deer stands will be a little bit vacant this Saturday than they would have otherwise been. Is that what you're telling me?
I can't promise that based on the last three games that LSU has played. Okay. However, they certainly have more LSU fans' attentions this week than we may have thought in terms of the result of the game. But speak to the point that I just kind of brought up. How much fun has it been in Nashville this year?
Oh, of course. It's been a blast. I think if you're checking off bucket list items, at least for us, like first win versus Alabama since 1984, first ever win at Jordan-Hare, which is a little bit surprising even for us. Of course, going back to a bowl game for the first time since 2018. You've got someone that's been so captivating to watch like Diego Pavia. If you're marching goalpost down Broadway to the Cumberland, if Nate Bargatze is on SNL talking about your win versus Alabama, it's been a pretty special ride. I don't think anybody has taken it for granted.
Was there any inclination in August that this type of a year was coming?
That's a good question. I think it's a fair question. I think the thing that I've kind of said throughout the course of the past couple of months is I went into the season not necessarily with high expectations or low expectations. I went into the season with curiosity because so much was new. Yes, Clark Lee is back for his fourth season, but the offensive coordinator is new. Clark is the defensive coordinator, which is new. You bring in a new quarterback. You bring in Jerry Kill. We don't know what the offense is going to look like. So much was new that it was hard for me to have an inkling or an expectation of something and rather just approach every single game with curiosity. I think the Virginia Tech game, the first one of the season, kind of put us on notice like, okay, perhaps there's something here.
Let's talk about Diego Pavia. You mentioned him there. What has it been like to watch him and call him over the last 3 months?
It's been some of the most fun that I've had in a broadcasting booth in my career. One of the more captivating players, one of the more like lightning rod players on the field that you could possibly have. The energy, the effort, like that's one of the things that, at least from a Vanderbilt fan base standpoint, what we've always wanted is someone that's going to max out their effort and their energy, right? Like we're going to sit in a position, we're going to acknowledge the fact that, you know, the top 1, 2, 3, 4 recruiting classes in the country are going to go to LSU, Alabama, Georgia. But what the fans have always wanted is a team that maxes out its effort on Saturday and gets the most out of its talent. And there's no one that really embodies that more than Diego Pavia.
What's amazed me is I see the highlights. I can't claim to have watched every snap like you have, but I see the highlights and I see plays where he's looking like playing backyard football and using his legs, kind of running around and freelancing. And then I look at the interception numbers, and it's almost none. There's 3 on the year. Can you speak to his creativity, his playmaking ability, but the way that he also takes care of the ball?
Well, that's a massive priority. So Diego's thrown the least amount of interceptions in the Southeastern Conference, and I say that, and of course something will happen on Saturday for sure. He has gotten so much better. In fact, I've kind of talked the past couple of days with Tim Beck about this, the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. He would tell you when he first got a hold of Diego Pavia, his accuracy wasn't very good. But one of the things that he's done is number one, he's an outrageously hard worker. Since getting recruited to New Mexico State back in 20, I guess it would have been 21, his accuracy has gone way up. He still doesn't have the world's greatest arm in terms of strength, but he knows what he can do with it. And the other piece that I've talked with football coaches about sometimes is the guys that often succeed are the ones that can diagnose a picture very, very quickly and make rapid decisions and have a feel for the game. It's not just, can you sit down and take this outrageous test and how smart are you, blah, 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 blah. It's how well can you diagnose a picture that you see on the field. And Diego is really good at that. He's got just a feel out there for the quarterback position. He'll scramble, but he does so intelligently. Like, he's got a sense that he needs to look over his shoulder to see if he's getting tracked from behind. Or there's times where he'll intentionally, there was a play versus Kentucky where he intentionally took a sack late in the ball game rather than throw the ball away, so the clock would keep moving. that sort of stuff is where Diego separates himself as a quarterback.
We've heard the term triple option used a bunch this week from LSU's players and coaches, but what is Vanderbilt trying to accomplish on offense?
Keep the football. Tim Beck, I don't even know, has a true name for what his offense is and what the Jerry Kill, Tim Beck offense is. I think at New Mexico State, they just kind of called it multiple. It definitely has lots of option principles in there. But he's told me, too, that they've got plays out there that look like a Mike Leach air raid type offense, too. So it doesn't just sit there and operate like a Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech triple option type thing from a handful of years ago. They're trying to hold on to the football. It's designed to be 3rd down and 1, and we convert, right? It's designed to get into the red zone and to have a 3rd down and goal to go from the 1 and we score. And that's reflected in, a lot of our numbers, not all of them. But I still think we're top 5 in the conference in 3rd down conversions. I know we're 2nd in the conference in red zone scoring. I think we're still 1st or 2nd in time of possession. It is designed to be that. It is designed to be ball control and to do it, whether it's through the option looks that you can have. But I'll tell you this, a lot of teams in the past handful of weeks have taken that away from us. So we have struggled more. Our rushing attack has not been quite what you would like it to be. Our 3rd downs have been 3rd down and 8 instead of 3rd down and 2. And that's created problems versus South Carolina or Auburn or Texas. So, teams have found a way as of late to kind of constrict some of the multiple ways that Diego Pavia has been able to beat teams in the first half of the season.
Who's a playmaker or two outside of Pavia that Tiger fans should be acquainted with before Saturday night?
Oh, Eli Stowers is for sure the next guy out there. He's an NFL-type prospect. He's a guy that came out of Texas as a starting quarterback. In fact, I think when you guys play Oklahoma next week, he got hurt. Eli Stowers did in a state championship game down in Texas, and the guy that replaced him is now Oklahoma's starting quarterback, Jackson Arnold. But what happened is it did not pan out for Stowers at Texas A&M as a quarterback. He went to New Mexico State, eventually became a tight end. And Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers are basically thick as thieves. Like, they went to the UFC fight at Madison Square Garden last weekend on the bye weekend for Vandy. So he's a very skilled tight end. He's up for the Mackey Award just like Taylor is for you guys. So he's the number one target for Diego Pavia. If Vandy struggles to get him the football, they've got other options, but the offense will be, again, in 3rd down and 7 instead of 3rd down and 2.
Let's talk defense. That's Clark Lee's side of the football. My read from far away is that it's probably a defense that's better than the sum of its parts. What's your read on the strength of this Vanderbilt defense?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely better than the sum of its parts. Now, having said that, I do think the talent for this defense has been elevated. It's one of the conversations that's happened around the transfer portal, and it's about the fact that all of a sudden some of the depth players that would have been at LSU or Alabama are now at Vanderbilt or elsewhere, helping those programs as first stringers. Randon Fontanet is a dynamic hybrid, safety linebacker, that type of position. He's somebody that can blow up a game if he needs to. C.J. Taylor's a very gifted safety. They've shown just enough with that defensive line. I think the linebackers are pretty good. Now, the depth does get thin. So if you guys run the football, we're gonna struggle toward the fourth quarter. That's what happened versus South Carolina. They could not get off the field. The whole stat of this game is probably going to be 3rd downs defensively for Vanderbilt and offensively for LSU. I recognize that it was kind of fits and starts for you guys versus Florida, but ultimately you converted like 55, 60% of your third downs versus the Gators. And Vanderbilt is second to last in the conference, amazingly, in third down opponent conversion. If that holds, Vanderbilt's going to be in a pinch in the fourth quarter. If it flips, then it's going to be a competitive game in the fourth quarter.
And he's been competitive just about every week. If it is competitive in the fourth quarter and it does come down to a kick, say 44 yards or so, how would the Doors feel about their ability to make that one?
I think we're going to feel good if it's 54.
Okay.
I think we might even feel good if it's 60. Brock Taylor's our starting kicker. He is in his first season, and he already has set the program record for most career 50-yard field goals. I think it's 5. Let's see. Yes, 5 50-yard field goals this season, and that is already a Vanderbilt career record. So if we need a field goal late, we feel okay. Now, he's missed some early, but he definitely settled in.
That's interesting. I did not realize that. I hadn't gotten that far into the stat sheet yet this late in the week, so appreciate you shedding some light on that. Y'all travel safe down here to Baton Rouge and have a great call. Thanks, Andrew.
Of course. Happy to talk.
He's Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vanderbilt Commodores. Again, I've said this a couple times this week. I'm not as impressed with Vanderbilt's ability to beat Alabama as I am as impressed with Vanderbilt's ability to beat Alabama and play Texas to a one-score game and go up there and take it to Kentucky and to beat Virginia Tech and to go to Auburn and win. And they're just solid every week. And this is something I've probably written more at LouisianaSports.net than I've said on the air this week. Sometimes that kind of gets muddled, what I've done over there and what I've done over here. But it's a Vanderbilt team statistically that doesn't look good at all in terms of total offense, total defense, rushing, most of the statistics are not good. But as he mentioned at the top of that interview, they're great at time of possession, they're great on third down, they're great in the red zone, and that's how they keep things close. They keep the ball, they get into 3rd and 1 or 2, they keep the ball a little bit longer, they've matriculated down the field, now they get into the red zone, they score points in the red zone. Pavia's only thrown 3 interceptions. It's not a high-flying offense. It's not a stingy defense. There's not a lot of highlight reel plays down the field. It's just methodical. And it's not dominant. And, yeah, they got beat by Georgia State. And, yeah, they got smoked by South Carolina. They couldn't hang in that game. But they've been pretty solid all year. And I can't say the same for LSU, especially over the last 3 weeks. So, it should be interesting on Saturday, and we appreciate Andrew for giving us a little bit of time. If you want to check that interview out, you missed it, caught the end of it there and want to hear it on demand, you can find it on YouTube at Hunt on LSU a little bit later. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.